Welcome, friends. This is now the third time I'm trying to record this video. The first time, I had my hat off and had to fight my hair throughout like the whole video, and it looked goddamn ridiculous. The second time, I stumbled over my words like an idiot. So here is the third time. I'm going to try to talk to you about corsets. Corsets, if you don't know what they are, were a set that came out that was in standard every couple years or so, numbered usually to coincide with the year that it came out, that included reprinted cards, very simplistic cards mechanics wise, and like the baseline introductory level beginner magic sort of cards. Your Singer Vampires, your Sarah Angels, your Shivan Dragons of the world were found in corsets, as well as some new cards that were not printed before. Recently, Goblin Rabblemaster. That's a card that's made impact in formats all the way back to Legacy, printed in a corset. They eliminated them with the last one, Magic Origins, which happened in 2015, which I feel was a great set. The Flip Planeswalkers were very cool. Jace still playable in old formats, all the way back. They ended those. Magic Origins was meant to be the very last, swan song of the corset moving out, and that's when they sort of ushered in the idea of 2 sets per block, no corset. We don't need that beginner stuff in our game. We don't need to cater to the people beginning in standard with these sorts of sets. We could just shove a bunch of supplemental product, the intro decks, the Planeswalker decks, whatever, the dual decks, the clash packs, all these other various, since then, discontinued product aimed toward beginners, as well as the intro decks, which are kind of great for new players and whatnot. But they ended the corsets, deciding that A, they don't sell the way that block sets sell, and B, I guess it's just not a need in Magic anymore, which I kind of disagree with. I like corsets. I've always have. When I started playing Magic, 7th edition was the set of that time, the corset, and it introduced me to cards like Birds of Paradise, Counterspell, Force Spike, Singer Vampire, things like that, which I feel are very important cards, although they're never going to print Counterspell, probably not Force Spike ever in Standard again. It's a good way to use those base cards, many of which have been around since the very beginning of the game, and keep them around in Standard, that have very simplistic rulings and mechanics and just a very straightforward mode of gameplay. The Flip Walkers were a little more complex than that, but generally fairly easy to get a grasp of if you know how creatures and planeswalkers work. Bringing the corsets back has now been a rumor because of a survey that went around, apparently from Wizards of the Coast, that had a question on it that read something along the lines of, if we were to do a set full of reprints and baseline beginner level cards in the future, what do you think the best suitable name would be? And one of the names was Core 2019. Basically kind of throwing it out there that it's probably going to happen, which I think is great. Welcome them back. I think a corset is a good way to give everybody a break from following the lore and the story of the game, as well as the block sets, where everybody is really obligated to buy a lot of product and a lot of packs and boxes and whatnot to keep up with Standard. A corset is something that you can buy and get the cards that are now going to be new in Standard and whatever, even if they're older printed cards, but also gives you the opportunity to not feel that obligated, and gives new players an opportunity. I had to teach my girlfriend how to play Magic by getting Khans of Tarkir intro decks after 12 years away from the game. So I had to learn about things like Delve and Prowess and things like that. Outlast, which is a stupid mechanic anyway. But it wasn't incredibly difficult for me because I had a base cursory knowledge of the game and its rules and its mechanics, but explaining stuff like flying and haste and vigilance and first strike and stuff is one thing when somebody is completely new to the game, and then you start adding on other keyword names and like block specific mechanics, it becomes a little more difficult for somebody that is new. I mean, explaining how trample works is easy when it's one of like 5 or 6 mechanics that you're going to have to deal with in a block that are around for all of Magic. But teaching somebody Outlast and how that works, or teaching somebody how Delve works or whatever, when it's going to be here now but go away for a long time because of reasons, not really intuitive for a new player. I mean, Allison, my girlfriend, is very smart. She understood, she picked up on it quickly, and quickly understood the game enough to play games and run through it. But it took somebody with years of knowledge from the game before to have to relearn these things and then teach them and pass them on to a new player, when like a Corset would have been a better deal to use and utilize for that purpose. At the time Concept here came out, there wasn't a whole lot of M15 product on the shelves, and Origins had not yet been released yet. And so I was like, okay, I'll just go with what's newest and most accessible, and we'll go there. The Corset just allows the convenience of teaching. Other than that, I think a big break from the expensive $10 MSRP Modern Masters, Iconic Masters, Eternal Masters, Master this, Master that, Anthology, From the Vault, supplemental product. Like, if you take one of those off the roster and replace it with $3 to $4 pack, regular price MSRP, basic cards that are going to be there and going to be available, it's a nice replacement for that. There's plenty of expensive premium product that comes out throughout the year that I feel like would be a welcome change to have one of those go away, so it's less money along the year that we're going to have to spend to buy some regular product. Other than that, Standard needs cards sometimes to fix broken situations. It's a good place to print stuff like a Shatter or a Pithing Needle effect or something specific like that. Fog and stuff like that's not something you're going to put in every block set or every themed set, but it's something you can put in a core set every single time, and it always helps. Outside of that, it feels weird having it absent. But that's my opinion on the whole thing. I'd like to hear what everybody else thinks about it. I am glad that we're moving back in that direction, possibly. What do you think? Do you hate corsets? Do you buy them? Do you avoid them but are fine with them existing? Or would you rather more supplemental, conspiracies and master sets and all that sort of stuff exist? I would love to hear what you think. Leave it in the comments down below. Also, please like, subscribe, share, all the comments are welcome. Check out my other videos. I've done now a couple deck techs for Legacy, Standard, and some other opinion-based, ranty sort of things, but we're about 9 minutes in, so I'll cut it short here, or cut it long, because this was kind of rambly. I appreciate everybody on my channel here, and if you're new, welcome. This is the sort of thing that I'm going to do. But thank you very much. I will talk to you very soon.